Words of Sri Aurobindo from the book Letters on Yoga from the collective works of Sri Aurobindo, Volume 28, Chapter 2. This is Letters on Yoga, Part 1. Page 40, topic The Sankhya Yoga System, subtopic Purusha. Sri Aurobindo says Purusha is the conscious being who supports all the action of nature. There is no fixed place, but as a central being, he usually stands above the other. He becomes also the mental, vital, physical, psychic being. The word being, says Sri Aurobindo, the word being is used with all kinds of significances. It is a very imprecise word and can embrace everything. Purusha has a precise significance. It is the soul or spirit side of the being as opposed to the nature side. There is one Purusha. Its action is according to the position and need of the consciousness at the time. It is the nature of the action above the ordinary mind or in the cosmic consciousness which is many-sided. The Purusha is one thing and the ordinary mental will and force are another. The latter may be unsuccessful in their action. When you are in the Purusha consciousness, that of itself implies a state of concentration and receptivity. By development of the inner will, it, that is the Purusha, can become active. The Purusha in men is normally passive, not active. It is the Prakriti that is active. Next subtopic, Purusha and Prakriti. Sri Aurobindo says there is a Purusha or essential being for each plane of the consciousness, just as each has its Prakriti, nature, a special force of action and movement, so each has its Purusha, a part of the being which supports and observes and experiences and can also control the movements of Prakriti. It is Prakriti, that is nature, that sends these impulses to act. Nature sends all kinds of forces and experiences to each. It is for you as conscious being. It is for you as a conscious being, Purusha, to choose whether you shall do or not do. You should reject what you see to be wrong, accept only what is true and right. In nature, there is the highest and the lower, the true and the false. What the divine wants of you is that you should grow in the truth and the highest nature, reject the false and the lower nature. As you have indulged the Prakriti for the last 10,000 lives or so, it has been accustomed to impose its own way on the Purusha. To be separate is the only first step. Also, I fancy the Purusha in you is still very mental in its will. In order to get the dynamic realization, it is not enough to rescue the Purusha from subjection to Prakriti. We must transfer the allegiance of the Purusha from the lower Prakriti with its play of ignorant forces to the supreme divine Shakti, the Mother. It is a mistake to identify the Mother with the lower Prakriti and its mechanism of forces. Prakriti here is a mechanism only which has been put forth for the working of the evolutionary ignorance. As the ignorant, mental, vital, physical being is not itself the divine, although it comes from the divine, so the mechanism of Prakriti is not the Divine Mother. No doubt something of her is therein, and behind this mechanism maintaining it for its evolutionary purpose. But what she is in herself is not a Shakti or Avidya, a Shakti of Avidya, but the divine consciousness, power, light, Para Prakriti, to whom we turn for the release and the divine fulfillment. The realization, says Sri Aurobindo, the realization of the Purusha consciousness, calm, free, observing the play of forces, but not attached or involved in them, is a means of liberation. The calm, the detachment, a peaceful strength and joy, Atmarati, must be brought down into the vital and physical as well as into the mind. If this is established, one is no longer a prey to the turmoil of the vital forces. But this calm, being silent, strength, and joy is only the first descent of the power of the mother into the other. Beyond that is a knowledge, an executive power, a dynamic ananda, which is not that of the ordinary Prakriti, even at its best and most sattvic but divine in its nature. Sri Aurobindo continues to say, first, however, the calm, the peace, the liberation is needed. To try to bring down the dynamic side too soon is not advisable, for then it would be a descent into a troubled and impure nature, unable to assimilate it, and serious perturbations might be the consequence. There is a constant movement, Prakriti, and a constant silence, Purusha. Sri Aurobindo says, it is the Purusha and Prakriti sides of nature, one leading to pure conscious existence, static, the other to pure conscious force, dynamic. The past darkness they have come out of is that of ignorance. The future darkness that is felt about is superconscious. But of course, the superconscious is really luminous, only its light is not seen. The three forms of consciousness are the three sides of nature, represented by the three gunas. Force of the subconscious tamas, inertia, which is the law of matter. Force of half-conscious desire, kinesis, which is rajas, which is the law of life. Force of sattvic, prakasha, which is the law of intelligence. Next subtopic, Prakriti. Sri Aurobindo says Prakriti is a name given to the force that works out everything in the person and in the world. It takes the form of mental, vital, physical, psychic, and other forces of all sorts of powers and qualities, moments, forms, thoughts, sensations, feelings, and actions. All this is the result of Prakriti. It is as when a machine is moved by forces of electricity or steam or gas, so the world may be regarded as a huge and complicated machine worked by the forces of Prakriti. It is what is called, in English, nature. They say everything in the world is the work of nature. It is Prakriti or nature that acts. The divine does not compel people to do anything. Nothing can happen without the presence and support of the divine. For nature or Prakriti is the divine force, and it is this that works out things, but it works them out according to the nature and through or with the will of each man, which is full of ignorance, that goes on until men turn to the divine, become conscious of him and united with him. Then only can it be said that all begins to be done in them by the direct will of the divine. The lower Prakriti is the ordinary consciousness of man with its ignorance, desires, and bondage. I suppose you know that one has to transcend this ordinary consciousness of the lower nature and arrive at a higher divine consciousness if one wants to be free. By Prakriti, in a passage in Basis of Yoga, is meant universal Prakriti. Universal Prakriti entering into the vital being creates desires which appear by its habitual response as an individual nature, but if the habitual desires she throws in are rejected and exiled, the being remains, but the old individual Prakriti of vital desire is no longer there. A new nature is formed, responding to the truth and not to the lower nature. Universal Prakriti, says our Lord, it's determined the habit of response to vital moments, and the soul or Purusha accepted it. In the acceptance lies the responsibilities. The Purusha is that which sanctions or refuses. The vital being responds to the ordinary life waves in the animal. Man responds to them, but has the power of mental control. He has also, as the mental Purusha is awake in him, the power to choose whether he shall have desire or train his being to surmount it. Finally, there is the possibility of bringing down a higher nature which will not be subject to desire but act on another vital principle. These are the words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo.